In this tutorial, we will build a couple of platforms that have some dynamic behavior that is moving up and down or left or right. Okay, so let's start with the platform that is moving up and down. All right, so turn this game off and we create a new tile. So let's name this brick tile up and down. Just like before, we will create a child named sprite, and we will add a new sprite renderer, and we will use one of the sprites. I've pre-prepared a new sprite which is 100 pixels wide and 50 pixels high. All right, so it's a half size of this full brick. So now I need to do the same magic with positioning. So I don't want the position start in the middle. I want to start it in the bottom left corner. So I need to move this now 0.25 up and 0.5 right. So now when I have this, I have it nice in the bottom left corner. Let's just put this in the beginning of the coordinate system and work with this. All right. So what we also need is a collider, box collider. And yep, that's the one I need. And we need to position it obviously around the tile correctly. All right, so let's remove it from the parent and let's put the box collider over the child, and it will be automatically positioned around it. All right, so now we have it nicely positioned around the tile. I want to show you first that we need two other colliders on this tile, and I'll just want to show you exactly why. All right, so when I run my game and I have my Mario here and I let Mario fall, if I press the right arrow, Mario gets stuck on the right part of the tile itself. Right? Why is that? It's because of the physical properties of the materials that we've been using. The problem is that Mario has some level of friction, and the tile also has some level of friction, right? So with the default materials, there exists some minimal friction. So when we put two physical materials together that have non-zero friction, they will get stuck together like a Velcro zip, right? So let me first adjust the original brick tile. So I'm going to enable it. I'm going to disable this one, and let me show you how we can solve this problem. What I'll do is I'll make the width of this collider around it. I'll make it 0.9 wide, and I'll add two other colliders, two box colliders. One, I'll add this one. I'll make this wide 0.1 wide, and I'll add it to 0.45. Sorry, minus 0.45. Right. So I see my collider is in here. So what I can do actually is make this 0.8 wide. Right. So I go to the original one and I make this 0.8. Right. So this is my left part. This is my middle part, and I'll add another collider, 2D collider, and I'll add it as again. I'll make it 0.1 wide, and I'll add it to position 0.45. Right. So I have three colliders around my tile: the left collider, the middle collider, and the right collider. And what I'll do, I'll use these physical material properties to add to have this collider different physical properties. And I'll use this little button in here, and I'll search for a slippery physical material. It's in my assets. And And this, if I would go to the definition of slippery, it's nothing else than it's a material that has zero friction and zero bounciness. That's all there is to it, right? So now what I'll do is I will apply the changes to the object which I have in the scene, so that it applies to the prefab that I'm using. Now I'll disable this tile so I no longer see it, and I run my game. So now when I'll try to get stuck on the wall again, hold on, this I cannot no longer, right? So once again I'll show you. It's no longer possible. Being this, that's my circle collider going to my box collider, so that's possible. But now when I try to get stuck, I can no longer get stuck, right? So that's pretty good. And while we're at it, let's just get rid of that problem that player was getting. See, so that's the part where we slipped from the circle collider to our box collider. So let's either make the circle collider bigger. So let's make it bigger, actually, as big as this, and then move it a bit to the top, right? So now this getting stuck should no longer happen. It's still a bit over. So let's make this one a bit thinner. There we go. So now again, same magic. We apply it to the prefab. We disable this one, and now when we run this, we should no longer be able to do any of it, right? So we go back here. Now he starts sliding like down, down, down around our circle collider. I can no longer get stuck, right? So we solve this problem. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to reuse my brick tile and add some properties, right? So I'm going to delete this one. Sorry for wasting your time. And I'm going to duplicate this one, the brick tile one. I'm going to rename it as brick tile up down, right? So I'll reuse all the changes which I did to the previous one. I'll enable it so I can play with it. I'll focus on it in here. I see I've got all my changes, and then I'll go to the game object menu and I click on break prefab instance. So it no longer is linked to the prefab that I've been using, right? And I'll create a new tile out of it. So brick tile up and down. All I have to do now is, alright, so I put in my tiles, is add a specific script onto my brick tile onto my brick tile. So what I'll do is I'll add, first of all, I want that material to react with the player. I want this tile to react with the player, right? And since player is a physical body, I want also the tile to be a physical body. So I'll add a rigid body on top of it. And then I don't want this tile, to react to gravity. So what I'll do, I'll mark it as kinematic, as well as freeze rotation. So is kinematic basically avoids application of gravity. And then I'll set the interpolation just like before, and that's about it, right? And then the next thing that we'll do is we will add a new script, and then we'll call it moving platform up and down. Moving platform up and down. I'm going to create this script now in the background, and then we'll just discuss the changes. Okay. In the end, I decided to change a little bit name to platform move up and down, not moving platform up and down, but that's just a detail. You can name it however you like. Okay. So I have two public parameters in here. The first one is the vertical span, and the second one is speed. Vertical span tells me how much up the platform will move, so how many meters will move up, and what is the speed the platform will be moving up and down, right? And then I have a couple helper parameters, some private variables, and the one in which I remember if I'm going up, my marker what was my original bottom position, marker what is my maximum up position, and then just keep a reference to my transform and the reference to my rigid body. So in the beginning, I remember bottom position to be my original position, up position to be my new position, to be my original position plus the vertical span, right? So that range we want to do with our tile. Then I remember the transform and the rigid body. The magic happens in the fixed update, right? So I'm using the physical properties of the object, and this is the coolest and best way of how to use how to make two physical objects interact on the platform, and I'll show you shortly what I mean. So what I'm doing, I'm using, instead of transform and translate, I'm using the move position function of the rigid body 2D. So what I'm doing in the fixed update, in the physical update, if I'm going up, I will move position of the platform by current position y plus some specific parameter, right? So plus my speed times the delta time, so the time difference between when the two frames were rendered. Now, same goes for here, right? In here, I also, when I'm going down, I move the position, I'll keep the same x coordinate, but I will now reduce the y coordinate by the delta time and speed. And if I have reached the position in which I am below my original position, I just mark, all right, now you have to start going up, right? And that's it, as simple as that. So, all right, so let's just look what we've done, right? So let's just run this and look at that. Our platform is moving nicely up and down, right? Let me just move this a bit. So let's just go into the scene. Let's just run this actually. And then I'll move this brick tile. So going in here into my scene. And I'll just move it closer so that Mario can jump on it. And in here, I can jump on my little platform and it works quite nicely, right? So Mario is now working with the platform. We see that those little jittery movements is a bit physics acting up on us. It takes some time to make it look very, very nice. We don't have time for that, so let's just try to create the left and right platform, right? So, since we have the brick tile up and down, all we'll do now is duplicate it and we'll do brick tile left, right, okay? I have already pre-programmed the script for moving left and right, so I'll only apply my script on it. I leave it up to you to modify the up and down script or just download the sources of this project and see how it's done. And with this, I have my up and down and left and right tiles. So what I'll do, I'll go into my tile folder and I drag and drop in there. So this is my tile. So let's put the left and right on the screen to see how it works. There we go. I have my up and down and left and right platform working quite nicely. So what I'll do next is I want to show you what problem do we have with the left and right movement. All right. So let me get rid of this one. All right, let me just actually disable them. So I can delete this one, which I don't care about. And this is my left and right, up and down. So let's delete the up and down one. And let's move the left and right closer to the player. So I'm going to move it about here so that Mario can jump on it, maybe a bit smaller, and I'm just going to scale it a bit bigger so that you'll get the idea. All right. So now I'm going to put Mario in here, and as you see, the platform is sliding underneath the Mario. right? So there is something wrong, and that what is wrong is exactly the problem with the friction. Now, before, the friction was our enemy because we could have been getting stuck on the platform, on the side of the platform, but the friction from above is actually not enough to maintain the player, to slide with the player. So what we need to do now is increase the friction on the middle part of the tile itself. So if I go to brick left and right, I go to my middle collider, this one, so the big one. I need to add a new type of material, which is called sticky. While I'm playing the game, unfortunately, these changes are not visible, so let me just restart the scene. So I will have to now, actually I'll have to, hold on, I'll have to move the tile to the position so it will be underneath the player. So I'll move it a bit here, make it bigger for now. I'll get it back, and then I'll add a sticky material. The sticky material has a very big friction, right? So it has a friction of 10 and has no bounciness. So let us run this again. And I'll put Mario on the platform. And fortunately I put it way too down, so let me put it up here. And as we see, it's much better, but still it's not enough, right? So the Mario is moving much more, so we'll need to increase the friction even, I think, on the player itself, right? So what I'll do, actually, I'll just add a sticky material on the bottom of Mario, right? So on the ground. So now the Mario's circle collider is sticky, and the top of the platform is sticky as well. And always remember to apply your changes. Right, so now when I play this, hopefully our Mario will get stuck on the moving platform. There we go. To our surprise, he just got moved there, but he's now successfully stuck on the platform, and we can move on the platform, right? We can turn left and right, but we are also stuck on the platform. Okay, let us just do the one last thing, and that is we will reset the scale of the left and right sprite. So we'll reset this thing. I'll just move it back to, oh, I moved this thing in here, which was incorrect, of course, because look, what I messed up is that I moved the child away from its parent. So I need to reset the values in here, right? I need to move it back to my 0.5 on the right and 0.25 on top. So now I need to see if I have done well. Going back here. Nope. Why not? Oh yeah, because that's the big tile, right? So that's 0.5. Actually, no. What I wanted originally is not to use the 100 pixel tile, but to use the smaller tile. I want to use this one, right? So what I'll do once again is I'll have to, now I see that the coordinate system is well. All I have to do now is reduce the size of the colliders. Right, so 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. So now I have my left and right platform. Looks a bit different, and I'll just leave the up and down platform working like it was. So the last thing that we'll need to do, well, first of all, always apply the changes, up and down, apply, left and right. And then I'll disable them so that I don't see them. But what we'll do in our level manager, we can now successfully use our tiles. So the left and right was this one, right? and up and down was this one. So now when we run our game, our camera successfully moves, and look at that. Now we have our tiles going up and down, left and right, we have our Mario, yet we still have these 2-3 enemies that are not supposed to be bricks. So in our next video, we are going to look exactly at that, and we will also look at how we can animate our characters.